ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight, Ink to Ink, Incarceration to Incorporate, where we're here to talk about gloves up, guns down with Mr. Rico Harrison and my co-host, Mr. Fred Green. How you doing, Fred?
What it do, Marie? What it do, Ink the Ink family, man. We excited to be in the house and here with my man. Pick up what my man putting down.
That's right. Pick up what he's put down. I would like to also give a shout out to Mr. Julius Hall for making it possible for us to come on and to share our stories. Thank you, Mr. Hall. And I would like to thank Mr. A.B., the brainchild of Incarceration to Incorporate, and my co-host, Mr. Julius Campbell. So, Rico, how you been doing?
I'm doing great.
That's wonderful. I'm so glad you picked to come on the show tonight to tell us about gloves up, guns down. I think that's so important because it is a lot of violence going on with our youth today. And I would really like you to just dig in and chime in and just tell us, what is it all about? Can you go ahead, Rico? First, Rico, tell us your name. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then chime in about gloves up, guns down.
Yeah. My full name is Timothy Rico Rashawn Harrison. I go by Rico. I was born in Brunswick, was raised my entire life in Savannah. So I understand about the crime rate and stuff like that in Savannah, and a lot of my family is from Savannah, Georgia as well, Marie included. So the talk about the gloves up events and stuff like that. The reason we got it started, well, it was a while back in Brunswick. It was like a lot of killings and stuff going on. And Brunswick is small. It's pretty much like a big circle. You could go from one side of town to the other side in less than 15 minutes or whatnot. It's not as big as Savannah. So, in a small area like that, if you having killings like every other week, that's a lot. You understand what I'm saying? Like you probably get like 2 or 3 in Savannah. That's not considered a lot. But if it's 2 or 3 in Brunswick, then that's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a lot. So I say back in like 4 years ago, it was a lot going on. So I was just trying to start up something to take away from the gun violence. I was just like, pretty much if you have like not even beef, but if you got people that's watching and you got that built up stress or something like that, let's try to start a movement against the gun violence or whatever like that.
Right.
We tried to start it off, and then what I learned, you can't pretty much put people in the same city against each other in no boxing match because it's gonna go left real quick.
Right.
So when we started out who was going against each other, you had people actually, it was pretty much doing damage to what we were trying to start or whatnot. So after that, I went back to the drawing board or whatnot. I built up a team. We got a group chat on Facebook that we communicate in, and we got volunteers. So now we started it up a couple of years ago, and it did pretty well. So we had we wouldn't have any violent situations outside of the ring or anything like that. Then we really jumped off when the Ahmaud Arbery situations came up in Brunswick. So we pretty much, got a lot of support from that. We went out to the rallies, we went into the parades. And me personally, I don't like to get in front of the camera, but they pretty much acknowledged us and called us to the forefront when it was on City Hall, the steps of City Hall, to give us a recognition for what we was doing in the city.
Right.
And so a lot of people in the city started getting behind what we was doing. So we didn't have any situations outside. We had a lot. We have a lot of guys and women volunteered to actually be a part of it because they see the
Yeah.
cause or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So then we start now to try to incorporate where we could actually get the young teens involved. Like I put in a video up. It was like 6 year olds doing tire drills. So what
Mm-hmm.
they do is they put their helmets on, they put their gloves on, and they put one foot in the tire, one foot out the tire, and then they kind of like go at it. But
Yeah.
it's pretty. It's a friendly atmosphere, and it's something that kids that get into be like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that. I might want to take up boxing or something like that. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
Yeah.
something
So
positive.
yeah, and it's something positive.
Yeah.
So like right now when we started it back up because it stopped in the city because we lost the people that we was using the venue. They gave the
Mm-hmm.
venue up, so we didn't have any other place to take it. So a lot of people, every time they see me, they be like, man, when you doing the gloves up events, man, when you doing that boxing, man, because I enjoyed myself. I like coming out. People was recording it, posting it, sharing it, and it was like
That's right.
it took away from all the negative that was probably going on in the city. They knew they had something to come, somewhere to come at once a month to see actual boxing. There's a lot of people that ain't never been to a boxing match, and
Right.
that opened up a lot of doors too. And then you had some, and it was just regular guys, no professionals. It was just like people coming off the streets, like, yeah, I want to be a part of it. I'll get in the ring, and
That's right.
and then you got some people that was just like in certain positions in the city that volunteered their time and they came out and got in the ring as well, and they brought
Mm-hmm.
a crowd behind them, and this was just like it was a beautiful situation.
Yeah.
Um, so I was talking then to different people to try to do it in Savannah, and some people afraid of change and they're afraid to step out on different
Different thing. But
ideas.
I want to say this, Tim, and I want to put a disclaimer. The disclaimer. I'm not promoting violence, but I really think gloves up, guns down would be a positive thing to give the kids something different to look at. Because when we were younger, Tim, we could fight, get up, Fred, and we can
Yeah.
still be cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now the kids, if you have a dispute, they want to run and go get a gun. So I
Yeah,
think that is so admirable what you're doing, Tim. And I think
I,
This Monday, y'all having something in Daffin Park, right?
yeah. The guy Marcus Bam Bam, he's one of
Mm-hmm.
the fighters that came from Savannah that represented Savannah and came up and did it took part in one of the matches or whatever, and he won and everything like that. And
Mm-hmm.
he be training, like he might put a video up and he trains and stuff like that. So like
Mm-hmm.
I told him, it's different mentor programs that you're looking for people to be a part of. And I think y'all have an event tomorrow at s-
100 black men.
yeah, the 100 Black Men, and that's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
at St. Joseph's Hospital or whatnot.
That's
And I'm
right.
thinking about trying to step out there to come be a part of that, see what's going on. But like I told him, you got different programs that he could come and try to at least talk to some of the kids and stuff like that. Because
mm,
I think some of his background maybe like coming from a street point of view or something like that, and probably be something that he'll be good towards doing. Um, but like I said, we were trying to look forward to doing something in Savannah. Some people have like, oh no, I don't know if that's gonna work, this, and that. So I really don't rely on that because I try to get with the right people that's not afraid to take chances on trying to do certain events like that or whatever.
yeah.
That's
Or,
right.
just to step out to see how it's gonna do. Like you might do one event and see the turnout and be like, okay, that's good. The first one, it might not have a big turnout, but people will see, okay, well, they did have security there. They didn't have any altercations outside of the ring. And
Right.
then what I learned is I would never put people from the same city in the same matchup against each other. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's
Because you
right.
don't want it to be like, oh, that guy you put in against this person, he from off the east side, and the other guy was off the west side. Now you got
Yeah,
some.
we don't have time for that.
Yeah, so that's why I just was like, okay, well, if you got fighters from Savannah, we'll use somebody from Hinesville or Waycross or Camden and stuff like that. And since we
Mm,
started up this time, like this was one of the first times anybody ever invited me onto a podcast to even speak on it. And I appreciate that.
You welcome.
Because you could get the
you're
full
welcome.
understanding and the grasp of what's going on. And I got
Mhm.
more counties getting involved. Like we got Waycross, we got Terrence Balls down there in Waycross with the vibe. We got Tracy from out of Camden. We got Miss Pinkney from out of Camden and Kingsland area. They want us to also bring matches down there. So we pretty much circling all the counties. But I really wanted to focus on Savannah because I was raised here, and I remember it was a time that, like you said, we could be out on the street playing stickball, basketball with the
Yes.
crates, all that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was more
Yeah.
like a more like a village, and we don't have that. You understand what I'm
No.
saying? And sometimes like this event, like say for instance, a father bring his kid up there, and this kid be like, "Man, this is my first time ever seeing a boxing match. I want to take interested in it." Or the relationship became more better because he probably be absent sometimes. You understand what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
And this might be a first event that they come to together, and it might bring in some kind of like closure with each other and stuff like that. Because there's been times like even down to daddy daughter dances, I do stuff like that. Um, and that kind of like close the gaps on a lot of situations with fathers and their daughters too. So like I try to do a lot of positive things, and like for me
Yes.
personally, I'm not a perfect father, so that's why I say I try to be a part of certain events would it help me be a
Right.
better father, a better husband, or a better boyfriend, or whatever the case may be. You understand
That's
what I'm saying?
right.
Because I'm not afraid to show people that I have problems too. I have things that I go through as well, but it's not going to stop me from trying to set an example. Because my kids, like one of my sons, he watch everything I do. He be around me all the time, and he relay the
Right.
messages to my other kids because they talk all the time. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it pretty
Mm-hmm.
much kind of like bridge the gap into what we might have going on a personal level. You see what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Because I feel like if I'm out here trying to show somebody else kid or mentor somebody else kid or show somebody how to do something, I got to be taking that same lesson in too. You see what I'm
I
saying? A lot
love
of
that.
people, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? So a lot of people try to hide what they got going on and just be like, "Hey, I'm for this and I'm for that," but not sharing that. Hey, sometimes I'm learning to be you understand what I'm saying? Like get my relationship right with my kids or my community and stuff like that too.
You know
You see?
what,
Well,
Tim? That reminds me.
charity start at home first, Rico.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what
You
I know. So that's why I tell my son. I just be like, I never hid anything from my son, anything that I've done or any trying to trouble I've been in and stuff like that. And I allow him to be his own man, but at the same time, I'm not like about to allow him to be reckless. You understand what I'm saying? So if the
How old is your
relationship,
son, Rico?
my son is 24 years old.
Okay, 24.
Yeah.
Okay. All
So
right.
and then he might take notes from me, but then my other kids might talk to him and he'd be like, "Yeah, Pop's got this and this going on, whatever, whatever." You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
they kind of like close the gap, and I just be like, "All right," because he decide if I don't talk to my father, he gonna talk to him. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Let him
Right.
keep tabs on what I got going on and stuff like that. And I just be like, "Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I know, sometimes we got to break certain boundaries or whatever." So that's what I try to do.
I like the fact, you know what I like when you said that you doing the father daughter dance and things like that, you try to put together to be positive so that you can do better as a man with your own children. And that remind me of Tyro when we used to read the pledge to the kids and it talks about integrity. And I always say this when I used to read it to them, Rico, is that we can't ask the kids to have something that we don't have. And that's
Hmm.
something I like that you saying at least you're trying. So when you know better, you do better, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's
Most
right.
definitely.
So it's good that you're bridging the gaps with your sons because I'm gonna tell you something. Black men and black boys and black girls need their daddy.
Yeah, most
Y'all,
definitely.
you all are so very necessary because you make a difference in your children's lives. You
Yeah.
make a difference. I'm telling you, it is so necessary. But I love the fact that Rico, I'm telling you, I can't wait to be out there with the gloves and the
Yeah,
guns out.
yeah,
I'm gonna make
most
so many
definitely.
videos.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? Fred, and Miko, he's not on tonight. He's in church tonight, but he's
Mm,
not on tonight. But we have a organization, it's OAA, Offenders Alumni Association, and Fred Green have Filling the Gap. And we also is a part of like a visual verbal where we take and we talk the system impact the kids. And I think that you will be a great, you and Bam Bam. I haven't met your other team members. I think that you all will be a great mentor to come out
mm,
and speak to the youth when we have them again. You understand? Because we have them maybe like for 8 weeks or 10 weeks at a time. And then we like
mm.
to bring in positive people or people who have made a change over a course in their life to talk to the young men and the young women to tell them that, look, I've been where you are, but this is where I am now. So I think Tim, I'm so used to calling you Tim.
Oh
Tim,
yeah,
I
you good.
think that you will make a big impact on the young men and young women that we mentor and that we talk to when we do have them with like the city of Savannah sponsor us, like, sponsor us to take and to talk to these young people. So I think that you would do an awesome job, you and Bam Bam. And Fred, he's really, really, really good. I don't know why he's being so quiet tonight, but Fred is really, really, really good. He has an organization, Filling the Gap, and he's a part of OAA, Offenders Alumni Association. Fred, what you got to say?
Well, I would just wait. I would just wait because I'm soaking in the tremendous responsibility and the tremendous job that you're doing, Rico, with
Mm-hmm.
working with the young people and giving them an alternative. For me, when I hear what you're doing, it's no different than you see other ethnic groups and you see other groups put their children in karate,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
jujutsu or whatever type of martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
or put them in something that would divert their attention and teach them some discipline. So I want
That's
to
it.
encourage you that don't think that your labor is in vain. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Progress is progress, even if it's an inch at a time. And you being an example for your son, that's the best thing that you can do for him. Seeing what you're doing and spreading the word, he already
Mm-hmm.
see you as an example. Your daughters already see you as an example. But I
Right.
would like to know also, in connection with this, and Marie touched on it real hard. When we work with the youth, one of the things that we found, and one thing I try to do is I try to help them turn their poison into their medicine. So what
Mm-hmm.
I mean by that, Rico, is I find those youth that say, and Marie Park can attest to this, that she maybe don't heard me say it. No ones that say I like to fight and I got anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them maybe you should be a boxer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you should be a fighter. Maybe
Yeah.
you
Mm-hmm.
should go in the military. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? Because that shows that you got a strong personality. So
Yeah.
maybe it's that you finding those youth that do say I got anger issue and they like to fight all the time. It's
Mm-hmm.
my misdirected talent. Maybe they
That's it.
supposed to be in the ring. You see what I'm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm sharing. I'm lacing you with that game because through the youth that we were with and through you could tap in through the Department of Juvenile Justice. Give me your fighters, the ones that like to fight all the time.
That's
Yeah.
Give me
right.
them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
saying? Because they're the ones you already done said they designated felons and they on their way to the chain gang anyway. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Right.
saying? So let me
Right.
work with them. So I would
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
for you to speak to the people too and say, what are you doing? And if you don't, if you're doing, what are you doing? And how can we help you? Because one of the things is we got to shift their paradigm,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
We got to let them know that, hey, if you lose a fight, that don't mean you go grab a gun. When
Yeah.
I lost a fight when I was young, I couldn't go grab no guns.
Yeah.
You see
Exactly.
what I'm saying? I had to get
Exactly.
up, I had to come back and fight again. You see
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so somehow or another we got to bring that back. What is from your perspective, and I know as a man, there's an emotionality attached to that, right? We don't
Mm-hmm.
want to say we going out bad, right? So it
Yeah.
has translated into I'm gonna kill you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You
Yeah.
make me
Mm-hmm.
look bad, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna murk you. You see what I'm
Yeah.
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can
Yeah.
we transition of that because I don't know for you, but in the chain gang, it ain't no guns. So
No.
therefore, when we hook in the chain gang, or when
Yeah.
I
You
was in the
hooking.
chain gang, we hook, right?
Yeah.
You lose, but you still got respect for fighting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Most
If you
definitely.
lost, you know what I'm saying? You still was respected because at least you stood your ground. You ain't let nobody chump you off.
Yeah.
Right.
How can we translate that to out here, Rico? How can we get the young people to say, hey, listen, even if you're from Savannah and you fighting another dude from Savannah, this is what we're trying to teach you is that, guess what? You live to fight another day. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Take that
Yeah.
energy and convert it, you see what I'm saying, to offering a solution to say, listen, okay, me
Go
and you
back
can
in it.
fight. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can fight and then we can get back in the ring. We can duke it out again. And then I
Yeah.
want you to speak on how can that translate to the streets,
Yeah.
to where we start saying, okay, man, if you going maybe we need to go behind a building and y'all need to fight it out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know
Yeah.
all the killings are interpersonal.
Yeah.
That's
They
right.
interconnected. They
Yeah.
from the community. It's homeboys that done hung together.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So how
Yeah.
can we encourage them to say, listen, if you got beef, hey, go behind the building because you got to do it if you get locked up. Go behind the building, duke it out, leave it there. How can we
Yeah.
do that?
And
Or just
leave it
say,
there.
I just say, they really, what you really have to drill into them is, all right, once we bring this business here and we fight it out, we leave it here. Once we get out this ring, it's a dead situation.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's a dead situation. We brought the business here. We stand 10 toes down on our business, and once we leave out this ring, we brothers. You
Right.
yeah,
feel what I'm saying?
Right.
We brothers after this.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We
But
ain't got
but I
no
mean, it
beef.
got Rico. It got to be some classes where we can talk about, because I try
Oh
to hit
yeah,
the youth. I try to hit the youth with the Willie Lynch. How the Willie Lynch said the system, whether it's a person or a system, it
yeah,
says that you break a nigga just like you break a horse, right?
yeah,
Mm.
When you have
yeah,
allowed it to eat out your hand, it will trust and trust in you only. And you
yeah.
take
Right.
a number of differences, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you magnify those differences. So you replace love, adoration, and adoration, right? And
Mm-hmm.
admiration. So I admire you, Rico, for what you're doing. I can say that on national while everybody listen, brother. I admire you. I'm not hating on
Me
you.
too.
I admire you.
Yeah, yeah,
Good.
But the Willie Lynch said we replace that with envy, jealousy, and hatred.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So they don't know they don't know that they don't fell for the okie doke. They don't
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
know, just like we didn't know. You know what I'm
yeah,
Right.
saying? That we don't fell for the trick bag. You see what I'm
yeah,
saying? So what can we do to help you so that we can impress this in their minds and say, listen, when I want to kill you, I'm up under the Willie Lynch. I'm up under a curse.
yeah,
When
I
I
like
want to
that.
kill you, when I want to hate on you because you're successful, instead of you let me lace you with some game so you could
yeah,
be successful, you
That's
rather
yeah,
right.
try to take mine.
yeah,
What can
yeah,
we
yeah.
do, Rico?
We could do like we try to put together a class or something like that.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? A disciplinary class or something like that.
disciplinary. Yeah. So when you
You
get
know
in
what I
this
mean?
ring,
Like you just like say for instance, you know, we do like a little report card thing. It's a guy down there in Savannah, here in Savannah called Savannah Training or some Savannah Fighting. I gotta remember his name, but
yeah.
he's willing to take on kids to help out with the kids as far as doing a boxing training class for the youth.
Okay.
I got an MMA fighter, which is a champion MMA fighter. Just came out. His name is Kamiko, and he's a part of the group, the organization here in He's a part of the organization in Brunswick.
Yeah.
And he got a match coming up in Savannah in August, I think the 19th or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to do he was giving out free fighting lessons and boxing lessons and stuff like that to the youth
Yeah.
free. And he was off for like a whole week, so he was doing the class for like a whole week or something like that. So
Wow.
we could probably try to incorporate something like that here in Savannah. That way, you could, like you say, grab the troubled teens and stuff like that, male or female, and sign them up for the class. That way, it'll be something that they have to be able to take out their ink on a punching bag, and it ain't not necessarily have to be as far as problems from the street. It could be problems within home that they got anger issues built up. They might
That's
feel like
right.
they're not being loved, or you understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? They're afraid
Yeah.
to be who they are, express themselves or something like that. So they
Yeah,
got a
Rico.
punching bag.
I called them the borderline kids.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
See, the borderline children is the children who they ain't getting in no trouble, right? So they
yeah,
ain't getting no trouble, but they ain't straight A students. See, both of them get attention.
yeah,
That's
The
right.
straight A students, the 100 black men want them. They want the cream of the
That's
crop.
true. Yeah,
You see
that's
what
yeah,
I'm
true.
saying? Then you
Yeah.
got the juvenile justice system want the ones that make straight ups and get in trouble. So
Mm-hmm.
both
yeah,
parties get attention. It's that one that's in the middle.
yeah.
See, they the most dangerous one. That's the one I was.
Cause they
Well,
was
Fred, can I
quiet.
tell you something?
I'm quiet.
My son is
That's
the
how. But I was the same way, and I was steady, and I was, man. Listen, I was running away from home. I was stealing. I was doing all that. But anybody look at me, they couldn't tell. But I was
They
actually
couldn't
doing those type
tell.
of things. But
There you go.
I still was having that suppressed anger. Like I was upset all the time, but nobody really could tell
Nobody
because
knew.
you know how they say something is like we was raised not to show emotions and to cry and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
to open up to people. And I had that problem today. You understand what I'm saying? Because I be
yeah,
nonchalant about a lot of things, like things I
yeah,
should be upset about. I just be like, man, I ain't even gonna worry about it. And people be
yeah,
like, why you so nonchalant? I just be like, that's just me. You see what I'm saying? Because I
yeah,
try to not allow things to get me out of my character, because that's how I was. Like back in the days, I probably got out of my character a little bit, but now once you learn how to control and suppress your anger and stuff like that, some people take it as being nonchalant, but it's just something that I use as a you know, not the, you know, I just put everything in the perspective. Like if I act like this way, be in this type of situations, I know the outcome. I think ahead, so I know how to avoid certain situations. Now, see, now for the kids that going back, and you know, for kids that don't know how to do that, we could set up a training for them, a training course, something once a month that they can do 3 times, every weekend. We could set up something every Saturday afternoon or something like that, from 12 to
Yeah,
whatever. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And you know, it's school time, so we might could set up something like a tutoring or something like that.
yeah,
Because you know, it's a lot of things that they used to offer us that I really don't see people
That's
offering.
offering now.
You see what I'm saying? And then sometimes, you know, it'd be kind of tricky because you know sometimes you'd be like, well, we got to take that issue up with the city, but you know sometimes dealing with the city and officials and stuff like that, you know, it'd be kind of hard. So a lot of things come out of fundraising and out of pocket from the people that's really putting the organizations and stuff like that together. But it take the right people to tap in and see. Okay, you know, you might have some people that just sit in the back. They want to help, but they just be like, I'm gonna watch from a distance to see how far it go,
Right.
to see the consistency behind it. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? Because I could say, yeah, I want to do this event in Savannah or something like that, and next month I probably be done forgot about it and something like that, and it'd be like, oh man, that was a hoax anyway. I knew that was gonna be the case, but if you got consistency behind what you're trying to do, it's gonna be people come out the woodwork to really push to see it happen. You understand
You
what
know,
I'm saying?
I like that you say that, Rico, because Fred, I think if you remember, people may say, Marie, I don't want to come and speak at visual and verbal, but here go $100, to
yeah.
put towards, buying the kids some pizza, doing something like that. They may not want to come out, but like you said, if people see consistency and see that you're trying to take, because a lot of people, to be honest, Rico, a lot of people want to help these kids. A
Mm.
lot of people want to help their kids, but some people don't know how to help. They
I'm not
don't.
gonna say. See, I ain't mean to interrupt you, but I'm not gonna say they don't know how to help. It probably was times when they was out here really putting forth the effort. But like you say, you might have the person that was really in charge of the situation that really took advantage of certain people, or they really didn't put forth that time and that effort, and they let it die down. So people
Right.
probably had like it probably be some people that be like, I don't know, man, this can be some scam and stuff. Cause you know a lot of things then change. You understand what I'm saying? You got people that be like, oh yeah, we got this organization going on, and you go to look it up, and it's not even an organization in any type or form
Right.
or fashion. You understand what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's a lot of, and then it might have been somebody that was helping the kid, and the kid turned on them or something. So that probably left a bad taste in him out or something like that. You
Yeah.
And
understand
not
what I'm
only
saying?
that, Rico, and Marie, it's this not a part-time job.
This was
Yeah,
not.
The
it
city
ain't.
and the people who have the resources and the fund, they got to start putting the resources so we can do this full time. Marie, I say that all the time. And to those who are stakeholders who are listening, we need you to put your when somebody like Rico doing this, he still got to work. He's a father.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He's a father. He still got to spend time with his family. And if he got a job, he got to work. Me, I have to work. Maria, but if we could get the funding where we can do this full time,
That's
yeah,
right.
then it could be sustainable. It could
That's
be
right.
something that's done on, and we can make more of an impact. But
Mhm.
people are trying to volunteer and try to part time their way out this problem, and it's not a part time. That the system works 24/7.
24/7.
The
see, that's what
system
they
don't take a break.
see.
It
The
does
system,
not take a break.
the system is what's making all the money, right? So
That's
Right.
right.
you got to look at what's going on with the officials, because if the system making all the money,
Hmm.
that's putting money back into the system,
That's
right?
right.
Back into the offices and stuff like that. They only come to us when it's time for re-elections and stuff like that,
I
campaigning
say
and stuff
that.
like that. You see what I'm saying?
I
Like I
say
done
that.
actually really had somebody tell me, they looked at, like, I promote everything. You know what I mean? Like I promote different type of events and stuff like that, and it might be something that some people don't care for. So I kind of slowed down off of it to kind of like work on the image you know, that I'm working on. So they were just like, well, you take it down your Facebook page and redo your Facebook page and stuff like that. We might could do something to help you out or whatever, and you could go to these type of events and these type of dinners and stuff like that. I was just like, nah, and they were just like, we could use you to go in the neighborhoods that we don't go into to try to help people start to vote and stuff like that. And I was just like, nah, man, I can't become somebody like that. You
Yeah.
understand what
Like
I'm
you
They
saying?
use,
want you
like
to
you
sit at.
using
They
me.
want you to sit at their table. They want you to eat what they put in front of you. But now we pushing now saying, let's create our own table. We got to carve our own path. Then you come to my table, either you eat what I put on my table or you go ahead about your business and eat somewhere else. But we've got to carve our own. Your vision is your vision. But see, that's how the system works. The system will take you and start. I don't know if y'all ever seen the best prime example is comedic, but it's true. I don't know if you ever seen I'm gonna get you sucker. You ever seen that before with the Wayne brothers? And remember he went to the People's Revolution and he said, what happened to the People's Revolution? The dude that played on Tales from the Crypt who turned into the devil. And the People's Revolution, he said the people came in, with as a mob, but they left out with jobs. The people are not mad anymore. He said the government got to them. So that's what they'll do. They'll come and try to dismantle and say, hey, okay, I'll give you $60,000 a year. You come and work for me. Now you done lost your vision.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Now you doing what they want you to do when you got the answer because it's your lived experience.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't abandon what you got to do. Now you got, that's what they try to do with you talked about on the Aubrey thing. You know what I'm saying? When people when you start seeing a group of people that's there, then you no longer see them groups no more. Either they done been dismantled or they done been brought out.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, that's what, and then I used to tell people that all the time because that's one reason, like I'm cool with his family, some of his family members and stuff like that. And when that situation was going on, and I know my platform, I didn't get involved like in the forefront, but I would support by sharing stuff and coming out to the rallies because sometimes you get people that get in that forefront just because of the clout. You understand what I'm saying? And then I was just like, all right, we had all these people come out when the situation happened when we went at City Hall. And then next thing you know, we probably had less than 100 people show up to one event. And I was just like, well, what happened to the large crowd and what happened to the large masses that was out there the first time? What happened to the people that was in the forefront in the first time? Like they're not even here this time around. You understand what I'm saying? But anytime it come down to our people, and I hate to say it,
That's
whenever
the truth.
when it first jump off, you probably got 1,000 people out there.
Mm-hmm.
They all mad. They all angry. They all
Mm-hmm.
upset. Oh, we all got to do something about it. That's not right how they did her. That's not right how they did him, or whatever the case may be. But then once the ball start rolling, and you got to put that time and, like you say, that work ethics in behind it, people start to disappear. Or
Exactly.
I'm not going to this, so I'll make sure I go to the next one. But the next one come, you're not there. You see what I'm saying? So they pretty much looking like this, and then it'll easily get brushed under the rug because they'll be like they don't have the support like they used to have. You understand what I'm saying? They don't have all
Yeah.
these. But when you put fear, when you if you at a war and you start to outnumber the enemy, what happens? They retreat, right? So
Yeah.
therefore, if we outnumber the whole situation and we all supporting the movement, we got to keep it that way. Because once we start falling apart and going our separate ways and the numbers start shrinking, we probably got them back down in the corner. We start retreating on ourselves, not on something that they doing. We retreating ourselves. You
You know
understand
what?
what I'm saying?
Excuse me, Tim. You know what that remind me of? If y'all ever seen Tim, you on Facebook. Fred is not on Facebook, but um, Fred, it was a bunch of African American men, and they were bent down, and they had like a monopoly board, and the white men were at the monopoly board, right? And only thing the black men had to do was stand up, and they would have been the majority.
Yeah,
And I think it's really the mindset of our people. I'm not
yeah,
saying all, but our people. Mr. Tolbert told me one time, he said, Marie, it's y'all time to march. It's y'all time to fight. You know what? When Dr. King and Malcolm X, and when they believed in what they believe in, guess what they did? The people went and they did. We would tell them, you just said a mouthful. You said it'll start off at a large masses, but it won't end that way. Girl, I know I got to do something. I got to take my baby to the doctor. It's always something. But you know what, Tim, about people that really fickles me is they want everybody to be in response when it comes to them. If it's
yeah,
something about them or something about their family, or something about their loved one, well, why nobody can do it? What I'm saying is let's get involved now. Mothers, dads, uncles, auntie, let's get involved now. It shouldn't have to be we going to a candlelight visual for people to get involved.
yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And then another thing too. All right, you know the whole situation that happened in Alabama, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a good example. Everybody sticking together for that thing right there.
Yeah, they was on code.
Yeah, but then my biggest fear is after a situation like that, what's about to happen when it's gonna be something about a black person harming another black person? You see what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because I was just
Right.
like,
mm,
when we have something like that and we can ride on that, it's always something that comes after that that affects our win. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I say that was a win for us in that situation, but then what's gonna follow behind it that's gonna cost us a loss, that's gonna be our people against our people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, do we
Right.
learn from this? Like, hey, you see what happened when we stick together? Or is it gonna be, oh man, I can't mess with you, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, it's a big event on the news. A black man did something to another black man, or a black woman did something to another black woman type situation. You see what I'm saying? So that's gonna overshadow the accomplishment they just had in Albany. I mean Alabama.
Right.
You see what I'm
So,
saying?
so
But I
Rico,
like, but I like to lace you and Marie with some game. Check this out, right? You tell me if I'm
okay.
wrong. Or not. One of the things that we got to remember too, God never took a lot to do a lot.
Mm-hmm.
No,
The Creator don't need He'll take a few people
a little
to
bit.
accomplish a lot. It's the mustard seed that is the smallest seed, but yet it yields the biggest crop.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number two is I want to lace you with some game that Rico, and it's specifically for you because Marie probably don't heard me say this before. There's a cat that did shout out to Eugene Priester off of Waters Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Family owned Priester's auto mechanic shop on 31st and MLK. And he
Oh
did
yeah,
15 years in the Fed. And he
we
taught me
know him,
some
Tim.
valuable game.
Yeah.
He said to me that Fred is you put two people in two categories. Everybody's useful, but you put
Mm-hmm.
them in two categories: transactional or value based. Now, the
Mm-hmm.
mistake that we have, the people that's transactional, they only use for you to get your goal accomplished. You are right with feeding them with a long handle spoon, but they're still useful for something. It's just what I do for you and what you do for me. The
Mm-hmm.
ones that have value is the ones that's going to enhance what you're doing. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to be at it for the long run. When there
Yeah.
ain't nobody else there, they're going to be there. They're going to support you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
What the mistake that we do, Rico and Marie, is that we put, and Fred, I'm gonna speak to myself too, and those that are listening, we put people that are only transactional in the value-based category. They don't
Mm-hmm.
belong there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Keep them people separated, but remember, everybody is useful for the cause. Find
Right.
out their gifts, their talents, their skills, what they're good at, utilize them, and then they will show you a discernment. God will show you whether they are value or whether it's just transactional,
Mm-hmm.
and govern accordingly.
I
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
You know, because Fred, guess what? You know, that puts me in the mind of, you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, Fred. That puts me in the mind of the root, the people who are going to be the root, and then there's the tree. You got the tree and the branches, but the root is what hold everything together. Fred always spit. Fred always give knowledgeable game. Okay, Rico,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
he really do. He always give. But Rico, I'm telling you, you should come. And I'm not saying you have to join us and be a part of, but you can be a part of and come into you and Bam Bam and the rest of the men who you like. I'm in his group chat, Fred, and I wish Fred would get on Facebook. Fred won't get on Facebook. I wish Fred would get
Mm-hmm.
on Facebook so that he can you can put him in his these group chats and things like that, Rico, because he is really, really good. Him and Miko is really, really good, and they will be a help. And also AB who he is a returning citizen, right? Rico, and AB came up with Incarceration to Incorporate, and now AB has 3 businesses in North
Mm-hmm.
Carolina. So I wouldn't mind, like, gloves up, guns down, like somebody from North Carolina and Savannah can get in the ring, and AB, one of your stores can sponsor it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm putting him on Front Street right now. And Mr. Julius Hall, our Black Media, can be a sponsor. Also, the podcast that you're on, Rico, he can
Yeah.
sponsor one of the fighters. So, Mr. Hall, you hear that? I know you hear me. So I just want you to know that we're going to take, and also I'm going to talk to Fred is back. Fred is a part of OA, so I'm gonna talk to Miko. So me, Miko, and Fred, we're gonna come together, and then OAA can be a sponsor to one of the fighters.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to take and we want to play our part. We don't want to just talk about it. We want to be about it. You understand?
And then I tell the sponsors, they don't give us any money. Like they just could just go out and get like boxing shorts with their logo on it for one of the fighters, or a robe, or some gloves with their logo. It's all about marketing your brand, and then it'll go on a flyer, and that way people will see, okay, our media group was a part of this this type of movement as far as helping towards the community and stuff like that. And like I said, we got a couple of sponsors. We got Mr. Wilson with a pressure washer company. We got Cooking with Kids with her. She do like desserts and stuff like that.
You got LSZ Cleaning Service as a sponsor.
Yeah,
I'm on it right now.
Yeah. So we got a couple of people that then came in and just being sponsors, and I like to shout out the spot that's in Savannah. in Brunswick off of North Street. They played a big part by giving us a home to be able to have the event there at their in that building or whatnot. Every first Saturday, we trying to do every first Saturday. We working in another one in Waycross to see what days we could do there. Like I said,
remember we got Lake Mare too, Rico. Lake Mare is wide open. It should be no problem with you to do some training at Lake Mare. They got that big old over thing. You know what I'm saying?
Fred, but he want a boxing ring. Isn't it a boxing ring right there on Montgomery Street? They got fighters that they got the boxing ring on Montgomery Street there by 62nd, 63rd. I can go and still check it out and see if it's still there, because they were going in there, Rico and Fred, and they were training. So I'm gonna go check it out, Rico. And if so, I'm gonna ask them, can we hold events there, and how much do you want me to ask, like how much would they charge? I'm gonna tell them the situation. What is it? What it's about? And guess what? People need to do some you know how you get the lawyer and they do pro bono work and it's free?
Yeah.
People need to do that, because this is something good. The city of Savannah can give back to help for our children, for our youth. So I think that would be very good. That's what I'm gonna do.
And then what I try to do too is the funds that we make from the events, we incorporate into doing events in different neighborhoods and different projects and stuff like that, and different giveaways as far as supplying book bags for back to school, or Christmas drives and Christmas parties and stuff like that for the kids and stuff like that too. So that's what we work on. So we don't just come out, do the event, make money, and then move on. We take the money and put it back into the neighborhoods. So say for instance, it's a city with 4 projects. We might do an event that first month at a venue, and then a couple of weeks later get together and go to a project and do a cookout or something like that. You see what I'm saying?
Rico, how long when you doing the trainings? I want you to answer 2 questions. How long are the trainings? How many days a week? And when you have the actual events, how long? And then after you tell me that, because I'm gonna help you with how you can market it to the stakeholders. So how long are the trainings, and then how long are the
trainers? They straight from out the house. Like it might be somebody daddy come out. He ain't never boxed a day in his life, so he might be like, all right, well, I want to do it. And then I got people that's like, when the fighters come from Brunswick, it's a guy down there that got a gym. He allowed them to come and he'll train them. He don't charge them nothing to come in and train, because he see
what the movie for about an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours.
It depends on how far he push them. Sometimes you might go in there, you might be in there 2 or 3 hours training, and you might come in there once. You might come in there once a week. But the actual events, we might start off. We might open up the event at 9:00, and it might go from 9 to 12 or something like that, and then we finish. But then since now we're trying to make sure we involve the kids, we probably try to do the different location for the kids, and the parents could come and let them do their thing, and then take them home, and then come to the other location for the adults, for them to do theirs.
So the reason why I asked you that, Rico, and that was important, because to those who are listening, the stakeholders, the officials, if you listen, or somebody that know how to get into the visual, the more you sponsor this, the time frames that he has these young people doing it, and adults, is a time frame that nobody is committing a murder. It's a time frame that nobody's committing an armed robbery. It's a
like
time frame that nobody even have. They not even on social media getting into no beef because they training or they in a fight. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it's
yeah,
a deterrent. It's a deterrent. And when you selling it to them, you gotta sell it to like that. I'm keeping people from out of trouble, even if I got them for them 3 hours.
yeah.
Even if I
Cause
got
you
them
got it.
for them 4 hours.
Cause you got to think about it. You got an uncle that ain't never boxed a day in his life, right? Or a daddy that ain't never boxed a day in his life, or auntie or mama, and they go to start training. Their kid might come with them and see what they doing. And then they
right.
might see the video of them fighting in the ring or something like that. Marie, you seen the videos I seen? You see how many?
Yeah,
At
I
first,
got him.
at first we probably started off with probably like 40 people came out. Then it went from 40 to like 100, 200 people came
Wow.
out just to come to an event to see people box. You see what I'm saying? And they
Right.
enjoyed themselves. So and then there wasn't no problem. There wasn't no, oh man, you bumped into me. This man, they was all keyed in onto the fight. And then even after the fight, win or lose, it was much love, and they had respect for each other. And they be like, bro, they'll hit each other up, be like, hey man, we're going to the gym to train this weekend, so pull up. They pull up, they out there training, they out there practicing with each other, stuff like that. And the person that might be that lost, he probably got a match coming up next month because he be like, hey man, I want to fight the next one. So what we try to do is we rotate different people, different fighters. So he might be like, yeah man, I want to step back in, and he step back in and get a win next month. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's something that really build character. It's something that I done seen somebody get knocked out, and you were like, man, he ain't gonna hit, man. Listen, he ain't coming back to this. And then he out there training. He done, man, listen, I'm not putting the black and miles down. I mean, I know I done stopped drinking. I done slowed down my drinking and everything like that
That's
Oh,
because
right.
I
so
want
now
to
you
get
talk
back
about
in.
a health component compared to
That's right.
Yeah,
well,
like
you
it's like
you need to take evidence of this stuff and collect this stuff because that's saying not only am I helping them with their mental, but I'm helping them get physically.
yeah, because you got some people that be like, they be smoking cigarettes and black and miles and stuff, and they be like, oh yeah, I know I can, man, and they be winded by the first round.
Oh
Like these
wow.
regular people, these not people this is what I'm telling you, this is not people that's training up every day like a regular professional boxer. That's just like me. I don't be lifting weights and stuff like that, but if I say, hey, I'm getting in the ring, and I get in that ring and I ain't trained or nothing, and I get knocked out, hey, I'm gonna have to stop smoking. I'm gonna have to stop drinking. Let me go start
Doing
training.
something.
Yeah, so these guys then started making groups to go jogging, to go work out, to exercise, eat a little different, drop their body weight down, get toned, and then get back in the ring again. It's not like, oh, I lost this time, I ain't getting back in. Like I got return fighters be like, hey bro, like what? We were supposed to do it on the July the 15th, but we had some other stuff going on. So then they was just like, they inboxed me. They see us back out. They like, hey bro, I want to do it. I want to get in the ring. You feel me? Like I have to, like sometimes I have so many fighters to I have fighters probably that'll last up the rest of this year. And I just have to
Wow.
break it down to, okay, well, this person, these 6 fighters gonna come this month. Next month, these 6 fighters gonna come. Next month, these 6 fighters gonna come. And you know they got their following, and people be like, oh yeah, I want to see such and such get in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And you got females coming out the woodworks. Hey, put me in, put me in. I want to fight. I want to fight. And we value that. We be like, yeah, come on in. So we ain't turning nobody down. Like I got some parents be like, hey, my son 18, can he come and fight or whatever? Yeah, bring it. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about these mamas. We ain't talking about the daddies for that. Like the daddies doing it, but the mamas, hey, my son, he weighed 200 and something pounds. He 18 years old. Man, come on, bring him in. Now I might be like, I found somebody that's in the same weight class as him, but he might be older. I don't care, this for a cause. You see what I'm saying? They not getting in there to like brutally beat each other up to a pulp. It's just like, we got ring officials, we got a professional nurse, everything like that. We got waiver forms, all that. We do all that.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? We do all that to make
Well,
sure
Tim, guess
everybody is
what?
on the same accord.
I look forward in coming to a fight because I've never been to a boxing fight
Mm,
match before, and I would like to experience that and come see that. But
man,
what you say? What you say, Tim?
man, it get hype. It get hype because I ain't never been to none. And then when I start putting it together and seeing it, I be like, oh my God, bro. Like
Yeah, so
for real, for real.
I'm coming to
Enjoy.
Brunswick. I'm letting you know right now. I'm coming to Brunswick, and I just look forward to seeing it. I would like to say we're about to get ready to wind down with the show, but I would like to thank you so much, Rico, for coming on. Tim,
Thank
as I know him. I really, 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 really appreciate you, people. I really always appreciate you, Mr. Fred Green, and thank you, Mr. Julius Hall. I like to thank everybody for listening, for tuning in for another show of Incarceration to Incorporate. Listen, people, this was a good show tonight. Guns down, gloves up. Mm-hmm. Gloves up, guns down. What we gonna do, y'all? What are we going to do? We're going to take and sponsor Tim. That's what we're gonna do. And we're gonna be a part of what he got going on, which is very, very positive. Thank you so very much, Tim. Good night, y'all.
Good night, y'all.
All right, good night.
Thank you.
No problem. All right.
I like that.